Ekabo Ekaro. Thank you for joining us. This is Oluo Fakola Day of Idin Kaifa Temple. You could be anywhere today, but you are with us, and we thank you for joining us. We will begin our morning prayers. So I want everyone who either has Ifa Shrine or if you don't have Ifa Shrine, just put your head to the floor for a moment and give thanks to Almighty God for waking us up. Let us pray. Mojuba lorun, mojuba leda, mojuba lorumare, mojuba boborumile, mojuba boimale, mojuba boegun tembele solorumare, mojuba to my elders, mojuba Miss Mother Delu so Dainsmere, mojuba Doris Hall, mojuba Basement, mojuba Fidelis, mojuba Clifford Watkins, mojuba Dahlia, mojuba Zion, mojuba Nagu, mojuba Clifford, mojuba Clifford Watkins, mojuba Kenny Mojuba Kitty Valley, Mojuba Oscar Valley, Mojuba James Owens, Mojuba Benino Chin, one of no block, Dennis Augustine Gomez, Mojuba Boboy, and Timberley Soma, Mojuba to all of our elders, Mojuba Shalag Bade Popola, Baba Ifa, Mojuba, Baba Robert Edmonds, Mojuba Ear Catherine Edmonds, Mojuba to Irawifa, Mojuba. Amy Agbola, Mojuba to all of our elders. Ashe. Edgy Ogbe. He hears people's pleas and stuff, please. He hears people's pleas and proofs, please. He talks to people and still just talks completely absorbed. He hears people's pleas and stuff, please. Name Vika. He hears people's pleas and proofs, please. His name Shodan. He talks to people and shows it talks completely absorbed. His name Voice the person most beings. Person was one cannot fail to impress one. Strike frogs on some rainfall, bullfrogs and some downpour. It is whatever that carriage will go on. True tells us what it accepts. Whatever the big rat tells us what it accepts. All what I tell you, if I please accept and approve them. And share. All to show gratitude upon gratitude is all about gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is all about benevolence. Love judgment gratitude for yesterday's benevolence, such person not the future days with truty. These decorations fire to the 401 of Romulan. I'm going to my prayer. Other rich Fuji. It is also decoration to a room. I'm going to Mayo Square, Shibuji. I'm grateful. I received my gratuity. I'm grateful for yesterday's favor. I also received today's gratuity. Oh, Turete. We are very grateful. I share. Awadupe. Awabure. Awadupe. Awabure. Adupe. Anawa. Olódùmarè àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bùrẹ́ àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bùrẹ́ àdúpẹ́ àná àwa bùrẹ́ tó nébù ọ̀rí àní àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bùrẹ́ àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bùrẹ́. Adupe anawa obore tune perumole awa dupe awa bure awa dupe awa bure adupe ana awa obore tune bolegun lorisha. Oh Lord Omar and the divinities, we give thanks for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter, all the blessings that you have provided us for today. We also ask for your forgiveness for anything that we may have done wrong, anything that we may have done incorrectly, any taboo we may have broken. Eros when tutu pounded out without soup can be very difficult to consume. These are decorations five to tutu the child of our Gbeneregun. He was full of bad character, he's bad attitude, preventive from into the mind. No one comes to this on behalf of Tutu, come to beg on behalf of Tutu. How many children does Ifa have that he will cast one out? Those who beg on behalf of Tutu, Shehu, Ogbelara. Ifa, please ward off our death, ward off sickness, ward off cases, controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, and all our fights from us. Bring forth to us all the good things of life, long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, healing, victory, all good things of life. Ogbelara. Rumla says time to sleep. I say it's time to sleep. When the day dawned, in the room in the 16th room where he covered his head with a flowing gown full of lice. He was wearing a dress full of bloodstains. He was snoring heavily. They told him that delegate from his side arrived. The room inquired what the delegate had brought. They told him they brought 2 rats swift and running, 2 fish racing, swimming, 2 birds swift and flying, 2 gulls with big livers. Aruna says, as now, waking up. I admit my ignorance. Please educate me. Montuna Karaba. I hide myself in your bosom and survive. Montuna Karaba. Let all Kang masquerade be Zagbajon. All Kang masquerade be Zagbajon repeatedly to perform ritual because of children. You are the leaders, we are the followers. Leaders are the ones who show the followers wisdom. Arumla told them to get alligator pepper, to get cola, to get bitter corner, to get alcohol. The couple got the alligator pepper, got the cola, got the bitter corner, and got the alcohol. That is right now. He is fully awake. Arumla, when you are fully awake, please look at me with eyes of compassion. It is with eyes of compassion. The heaven stars, you look at the stars below. Arumla, when you are fully awake, please look at me with your eyes of 12, 1, 2. Secure great wealth is such good eyes of heavenly stars, you look at the stars below. Arumla, when you are fully awake, please look at me with your eyes of 12, 1, 2. Bear many children and such good eyes a child to use, and look at what decorated play. Be for long not to fortune us in the midst of all era and life. Ashe. Ifa, we ask that you would continue to ward off our death, ward off our sickness, ward off cases and controversy, ward off fights, ward off litigation, losses and outright fights from us, ward off witchcraft and negative energy from us. Bring forth to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, healing, joy, victory, and all good things of life. Ifa, we call on you. We ask that you would move my ego out of the way so that we can hear good Ifa. Ema kami mene ama, ema kami mene ano, ema kami mene adelokun, etamole, etori Ifa alonemi, ebora timpanini, nipanami, ahon ti Ifa lelejo. Ashe. Ifa, please support me. We ask that you would hear us, hear our prayers, give us the victory. Ashe. Oshe Aruela. Tiny are the feet of Kubu. The stripe of a chameleon is not big enough to use this headgear. Had it been enough to use this headgear, I would have taken it home and done my hair with it. Easy 5 decorations to Aruela. We're going on spiritual mission to Jebulan. We call looks being same money. Con sauce and make rich. Con Aruela with respect in the Jebulan. Oshe Aruela is a good awo. Oshe Tora. I kick in Bagisa. The actual chop against the tree, Cassify for Rumla. When he used to be by not shit from Ludamar. If anyone chooses realty, surely wealthy. I kick in Bagisa. In the mouth of one's Azibanashe, in the mouth of an awu. If no one should have victory, surely victory. I kick in Bagisa. In the mouth of one's Azibanashe, in the mouth of an awu. If no one should have joy, you should surely have joy. I'm kicking it Bagisa. In the mouth of an one's Azibanashe, in the mouth of an awu. To Essi. Maybe so. Surely shall it be. Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Bọ́bọ́n tí mo bá màmá wí o, ìrúmọlẹ̀ ó bà, Ifá ó bà o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Bímọ túrọ̀, tí mo súre, bímọ pẹ̀rẹ̀, tí mo súre, bímọ kúlẹ̀, tí mo súre. Timo joko, Timo sure, ire Timo su ori ti bo, ori eni larure yeni o, ori eni larure yeni, mojule onu fawa mori, ori eni larure yeni, Ashe, mboboreta su, Ifa oba lorun. Àtìbàtájú Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run ó ṣe àrú ìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Olódùmarè and the divinity, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, shelter. We thank you for all the good things in life. We ask that you will continue to move death out of our way, move sickness out of our way, move conflicts and fights out of our way, move evil and danger out of our way, move witchcraft out of our way, and bring forth to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, give us victory, over all adversity. Give us confidence and help us to find, follow, and fulfill our destiny. Aboru, aboye, aboshishe, aboato, ekaro, ekabo. Thank you all for joining us today. Once again, I am Oluo Fakolade. I am the Oluo of Idinkai Fatimpo. And I want to thank you all for joining us today as we begin this discussion on the ancestral cure. Before we jump into it, I want everyone to like and share this video. Send it to your friends. Send it to the people who are interested in Ifa and also African spiritual tradition. Please make that move because this is going to be a very important, a very rich service and sermon. So let's begin this discussion. So, as I talk about this topic of the ancestral cure, I am reminded of what has happened in America this weekend or this week. What has happened is the Nottoway plantation burned down this week. Nottoway plantation was built in about 1859 during the antebellum period when much of the southern United States owned African Americans as enslaved human beings. So, indeed, Nottoway plantation was a slave plantation, and it engaged, or the people there engaged in the wholesale rape, systematic murder, violence, and the trade of African human beings and countless other crimes. This place stood and stands, its remains, as a monument of collective ancestral pain, degradation, and in 2025, this monument to human suffering was actually a resort, spa, and breakfast that was rented out to the wealthy. Imagine that. A monument to mass murder and rape is now a tourist attraction where the descendants of those perpetrators of such heinous crimes can relax and relish in the spoils of their ill-gotten gains. Think of it as this. Think of it as the gas chambers of Auschwitz were revamped into a quaint bed and breakfast for the descendants of Nazi Germany to relish and enjoy their holiday. This is the reality of ancestral trauma in the United States. Indeed, the ancestors had been forgotten in a place like Nottoway. Perhaps not forgotten by the descendants of those enslaved, but definitely forgotten by the descendants of the perpetrators of such crimes against humanity. You ask, why is the mention of this so very important within the discussion of Ifa? I say that it bears all importance for us as Ifa practitioners, for Ifa is indeed an ancestral tradition. Many of my African diasporic brothers and sisters were called back into Ifa due to the immense yearning of their ancestors. Our blood brought us to these traditions as a way of remembrance, as a way to make it right. We were called by this as a remedy for our pain and much of our brokenness. We were called by an ancestral cure. The Odu Ifa Obeka Ifa says, The Egungun masquerade is he who uses gloves on his hands to handle the alcohol calabash. The Paraka masquerade is he who uses his stretched hands to grip the sword when the Bata drummer calls on La Pekun. It is La Pekun that the drummer focuses his attention on. These Wifa's declarations to Olofin, who would grow so old and use monkey meat to offer Ebo. He was advised to offer Ebo. He complied. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of joy. Come and perceive all irate of life. There are no more Orisha on earth. We are only propitiating Oju Bo. So let me tell you the story of this verse, and then we will analyze it. So the Oba of Ile-Ife was Olofin, and when he was first installed as the Oba of Ife, things were great within the community. They were progressing and they were progressing very well. The land was at peace, there was harmony all over. But over time, this progress degenerated and it stopped, went into a standstill, and then chaos ensued, and eventually everything was helter skelter. Olofin, by this time, had grown old, and he was also very anxious. He was old and even feeble, and he too would soon join the ancestors. So when he returned to the ancestors, he wanted to have a good report. He wanted to be able to share with the ancestors the things that he had done to improve Ife. But he couldn't do that if he died while Ife was in chaos. He wanted to leave a legacy of greatness in that kingdom. He wanted to leave Ife prosperous. So Olofin went for Ifa consultation, and he wanted the solution to his problem. The Odu that was revealed was Ogbeo Karan. And the Babalao told him that the reason why his kingdom had fallen into disarray was because the people had forgotten and abandoned their ancestors. The ancestors had gone so long being unrecognized that they abandoned the support of their people. So Olofin was then advised to go to all the sites where the ancestral shrines were installed. And he was then told to propitiate the ancestors, to feed them. He was also told that he needed to offer a bowl with the meat of a monkey. Or not just one monkey, more than one monkey. So at this time, Olofin wanted to comply with the abo. He then sent his hunters out to hunt monkey and procure the meat of this primate. Before the hunters had arrived, Olofin identified all the sites where the ancestral shrines were installed. And what the priests realized is that at all these shrines where the ancestors were to inhabit and enrich the community, they realized that the spirit of the ancestors in that spot had left. The ancestors no longer inhabited the space. So when the hunters came back, they had plenty meat. And this meat was then used to offer as ebo. They offered the ebo, and then they went to feed the ancestral shrines, but realizing, of course, that these shrines were vacant. The Babalawos went to those places to reestablish those shrines. And when they did this, they had to summon the spirit of Orisha back to that place. They had to summon the spirit of the ancestors back to that place. And the way they did it is that they used the eyes of the monkey. So each place they put eyes of the monkey in those locations. The Oju, eyes, and Obo, monkey. And when the Orishas and the ancestors were summoned by those Oju, Obo, they came back. And after the ancestors had returned, finally, gradually, things began to change back into a level of normalcy and balance. And now, Olofin was ready to meet his ancestors because he had a good report and he had left a good legacy. So when we think of this verse, there is a pun. And the pun is Oju, which is eyes, and Oba, which is monkey. Oba, monkey. But when you put them together, what it is Ojubo. And this word literally means the place in my home where the ancestors and the Orisha are propitiated. Point number one, I do this in remembrance of thee. Everybody repeat in the chat, I do this in remembrance of thee. Y'all ever been to a church and you see on the altar at a church that phrase, I do this in remembrance of thee, written on that altar? I want you to think about, what are they remembering? Well, what they are remembering is tradition. They are remembering the history and the ritual that they do in that church ties them back into alignment. Essentially, all religion is ancestral veneration. All religion is the deification of certain historical figures that are significant to your culture. Let's look at Ogunda Sorire. Ifa says the palm oil is complaining against the bean cake, and the bean cake is complaining against the palm oil. Ifa's message for Fakolade, the delegate of Awos, who had abandoned Ifa worship and declared he will never worship Ifa again. He was advised to offer Ebo. He complied. Here comes Fakolade, the delegate of Awos. It is the Orisha that supports one that one ought to be worshiping. Ifa is saying here that that you and your honor, when you honor your ancestors and you honor your Orisha, you will be blessed. If you honor someone else's Orisha or ancestors, how can you progress in life? How does this look when we investigate and invest the culture of our colonizers? Are we continuing the process that they started years ago and perpetuating our own degradation? Point number two, and put this in the chat. Those whom I remember will also remember me. It reminds me of that song on Coco. Remember me, remember me. Say that in the chat. Ancestral veneration helps us to heal. It is curative. In the olden days, in various African countries, on the continent of Africa, when a person was mentally ill for whatever reason, part of the remedy to heal that person was to speak the names of their ancestors from many generations past in order to help them remember, in order to help realign them. This remembrance is not just mental, it is spiritual and it is physical. Our ancestors remember us. If we look at the forgetting of our ancestors as a form of dismemberment, a dismembering process where somebody cuts you into pieces. If we look at the transatlantic slave trade, that is a dismembering process. If we look at institutionalized patriarchy and white supremacy, that is a dismembering process. When we look at those things as such, then remembering our ancestors is an act of revolution. It is an act of revolutionary love. That is ancestral cure. Lastly, let us look at the Odu of Ogbeobara. Ifa says one's business ought to be taken care of and one's trade ought to be handled well. If one stays in the river to drain the water there, in the water will splash on that person's face and splash into one's mouth and splash all over one's body. This was Ifa cast for Oja Boku when lamenting her inability to have her own baby. She was advised to offer Ebo, and she complied. After giving birth to the baby, she named that baby Eyinle. When Eyinle grew up, she too was lamenting her inability to give birth to a baby. She was advised to offer Ebo. The Babalawo asked her to use dog as Ebo material. She complied. After giving birth to her baby, she named her baby Ijanja. When Ijanja grew up, she never saw her menstrual cycle before a day. She was weeping her lamentation of not being able to have a child of her own. She too was advised to offer Ebo. And when she was asked to offer Ebo, she was told to go and meet her mother at the riverbed. I have brought bitter cola nuts to come and meet my mother. Erin Jogu. Ola, the elephant has honor as its inheritance, offspring of the elephant that marches majestically with honor in Janja. Here I come, the daughter of Eyine, who resides in the river. I have brought cola nuts to come and meet my mother. I have really come in search of my mother. In Janja, I have brought cola nuts and bitter cola nuts, and I have also brought atare to come and meet my mother. I've come in search of my mother. Ayinle, please come quickly and take all the ritual materials from your daughter. Erin Jogunla, offspring of the elephant that marches majestically with honor. Ijanja, here I come, daughter of Eyinle, who resides in the river. I have brought a matured ram to come and meet my mother. I have come in search of my mother. Eyinle, please come quickly and accept all ritual materials from your daughter. Erin jogun ọ̀la, ọmọ Erin tí Fọláyan, Ìjànjà. Here I come, the daughter of Eyinle, who resides in the river before long, not too far. Join us in the midst of several children. Several children is what Ifa guarantees. This is such a beautiful verse of Ogbe Obara. This is one that would be wonderful to commit to memory. When we look at this story, Oja Boku was a woman who lived well and lived with her husband, but she was neither happy nor was she fulfilled in life. And the reason is because she had no children. Her husband and her in laws loved her, and they treated her like she was one of their own. They treated her like she was their daughter. They even absorbed her into the family, but she felt bad because she could not contribute by giving birth to a child. So she felt her life was incomplete. She went for Ifa consultation, and the Babalao said to her to have peace of mind. All she needed to do was offer a bow with one ram and feed Ile, Mother Earth, as Ifa required. She then complied with what Ifa said. And 6 weeks later, she realized that she was pregnant. She was so excited and gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. And the whole family celebrated. And she named the young lady Einle, meaning the egg laid by Ile. When Einle grew up, she too got married, and she too wanted to be a mother, just like her mother. She married into a wonderful and beloved family that cherished her, and her husband cherished her, and her in laws cherished her, but she too could not have a child. She went to the same Babalawo that her mother went to, and she was told that she would be able to have children. She was advised to offer elbow with one dog. She then was told to slaughter that dog and cut the meat into pieces. And those pieces were called injanja. These injanja were cut into bits and then cooked with arejin bomopon leaf. And she would eat that. And this would then help her to get pregnant. She followed the advice of the Babalao, did everything right, and within a month, Aine became pregnant. She also gave birth to a baby girl named Ijanja. When Ijanja grew into adulthood, she too married a wonderful, loving family, into a loving family. And her husband and in laws loved and adored her as well. But she too was unfulfilled. She had a terrible secret. And that secret that Injanjan had is that she had never seen her menstrual cycle. When she went into puberty, she did not have a cycle. She just grew into puberty. And she was sad, she was embarrassed, and in a sense, she even hated herself. She felt that sense, that she couldn't have a menstrual cycle, that there was nothing that separated her from actually being a man. And as a result of this, she couldn't get pregnant. She too went to the same Babalao that her mother and her grandmother went to. She asked the same question of this old Babalao. And he told her that indeed she would give birth to many children. And her cycle would return or would come and it would be regular. By this time, Janjan's mother, Einle, had passed away. And when her mother had passed away, her mother was such a great personality in the town And she was so well known, and her story was so well known that the people made her mother Ainle an Orisha of the river. And when she was made an Orisha of the river, she was propitiated in order to assist women in having children. So Ijanjan was told to go to the river and pray to her mother. Bring a ram, bring 50 kola nuts and 50 bitter kola nuts, bring palm oil, bring amala. And she went to the river with drummers. She prepared the foods and the drinks and invited many people to come and celebrate Ainle. She sang and danced, and her mother's spirit arrived, and the people began to get possessed. Ijanjan began to tell her mother all of her problems. Ijanjan danced, and she danced through the town with joy and confidence, and no sooner than when she arrived back at her home, she realized that she was in the middle of her menstrual cycle. This was the first menstrual cycle that this grown woman had. Shortly after, she became pregnant. Ijanjan became pregnant and gave birth to several more children after that. Ashe. So in this Odu, Oja Obaku passes down a genetic predisposition of infertility to her daughters. Now let's entertain the discussion of that. When a person has a genetic predisposition for an issue, now let's analyze it from more of a scientific perspective, from the concept of epigenetics. Epigenetics is the study of changes in gene expression that occur without altering a DNA sequence. It focuses on how environmental factors, behaviors can influence how genes are turned off or on, potentially affecting both individuals and their descendants. So, what are some of these factors that trigger the expression of a gene that turns on disease? Well, one is environment. Where you live, what are the environmental toxins in that area? Is there a pesticide in your water? Right? Is there toxins in the air? This is environmental. Second is behavioral. Do you exercise? Right? Do you walk? Do you focus on your fitness? Third is diet. What you eat, what you don't eat. All of these things can trigger disease. This reminds me of a meme that I've seen many times on social media, and it says, diabetes and high blood pressure run in your family because nobody runs in your family. What this is talking about is the link between physical fitness and inactivity creating disease within the body. Epigenetics states that you may have an inherent predisposition to disease, yet through your own choice, action, and volition, you can turn the trigger on or off. I had an inspirational conversation with Nganga Sunny Batata this week, and he mentioned that it is through the ancestral veneration that we are able to transform our DNA. we are able to epigenetically work out some issues. So, through the action and the propitiation of your ancestors, you can change the negative aspects of your destiny. You can make better choices. Point number 3, I choose a better destiny. I will my blessings into existence. Let's say that again. I will my blessings into existence. And I will ritualize my blessings into reality. So here's the jewel of this story. Ojao Boku passes down this genetic predisposition of infertility, and Einle, the daughter born from a mother with this affliction, also has the same affliction of which she overcomes, and when she eventually dies, she is venerated at the river. She becomes Orisha. She is Orisha because of what she was able to overcome. She is Orisha because she inspires others to overcome, but also because she overcame, she becomes cure. When we are able to overcome the problem, the medicine that is the remedy for that issue then resides in our DNA. We become the problem and the solution. Just let that sit. Let that just kind of seep into you. The problem may reside in us, but the solution, the cure, it resides in us too. In closing, I want to say the Odu Irete Ogbe, Retengbe. The Egungun of one's lineage does not run away from one. One's ancestral Orisha does not see one and run into hiding. If the Egungun of one's lineage runs away from one, it is evident that one's ill luck is from heaven. If one's ancestral Orisha sees one and runs into hiding, it is evident that one's ill luck is from heaven. These Rifa's declarations to Elelog Bologbo, the blood clot, which shall reside in the womb to become a baby. Let me associate with you and become a mother. Unlimited fertility potential is the endowment of the bat. Let me associate with you and become a mother. Ashe. So when we think of this, let us focus on the fact that our ancestors have actually picked us to win. And they are essential in the process of us winning. Let us remember them. And as we remember them, as we put them together as well, let them put us together. And as we are put together by them, let us will our blessings into existence. I honor you, my ancestors, and my ancestors. Please honor me. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe. Thank you all for joining us today. We have a couple of announcements. Itarogun was done earlier this week. If you are interested in donating for Itarogun, please go to the Idin Kaifa Temple website, or you can make donations for, or not donations, but you can also participate in Itarogun that way. We'll be offering the abo. If the ebo has not already been offered, but you could participate if you like. Also, if you like what we're doing, please, please, please feel free to make any donations, support this movement. Also, I want to send a congratulations out to the new initiate. We did a tefa last week, actually last Sunday. We finished, and that was for Olayemi Edgar Casanova. Shout out to you and your whole family from Atlanta. Came down here and was initiated, and it went so well. Such a blessing to meet you, and such a blessing to like meet your family and everything. Thank you for choosing us to come to, and we welcome you and we love you. All right. So I want to see if I can see who's watching. And thank you, Abora Aboye, to you, Maisha, Abo Shisha Boto. Good to see you, Annette. Good to see you. Berto, Abo Shisha Boto. Nico, Nico, thank you for joining us. Abo Shisha Boto. Allison, Patrick, Abo Shisha Boto. Maisha, yes, we do. Yes, we do remember thee. Ashe, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Ashe. Thank you. Amosun. Hey, good to see you. Iya. Aboraboye. All right. Berto. Thank you all for participating in the chat. All right. We send shout outs to everyone on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I think we're on all of those platforms today. Thank you. Ashe. Thank you. Ashe. David Thomas, good to see you there. A couple of new faces. Thank you once again for joining us. All y'all on the gram. We thank you for joining us there. All right, word. All right. So with that, as I said before, tap in, like, and share. We'll be doing some other great things. We got some really important and incredible things to announce in the near future. Some great happenings for not my whole family and the community. So we have some great things to announce, and they're upcoming. I will announce that surprise to you a little bit later in the week. So once again, we thank you so much. Let's pray. Olodumare, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We ask you to continue to support us, guide us, direct us, protect us, keep us safe. Help us to remember our ancestors and understand that when we say our ancestors, you are also included in that process because you are our first ancestor. You are the one that created us. So, in that, our great mother, our great father in heaven is indeed our first ancestor, the one that came before, and let us remember you. And as we remember you, please remember us. Ashe. Also, folks, join us this Thursday. Conversation with Nganga, Sunny Batata. Really great conversation for Makings of Men. That's going to be 6 p.m. on Thursday. So join us there. It's going to be really good. You don't want to miss it. Thank you very much. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Agboto. Thank you so much, and we love you.
Alone for this time.